Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. Now, I want to pay attention to Darnell Boone because I don't think a lot of people know about the history of Darnell Boone. Everybody knows about Darnell Boone, especially with respect to Andre Ward. But Darnell Boone did a lot more than just knock out Adonis Stevenson and knock down Andre Ward. And so I just want to show you his reputation. Yes, he's a journeyman, but I want to show you his reputation so that you can understand it even better. While Darnell Boone was never really a great shining light in boxing, kind of like Buster Douglas, he was this guy that had a combination of skills and techniques that made him pretty dangerous. Darnell Boone could find a flaw in your defense or offense, and even on short notice, he could exploit that. One of the first examples everybody knows about is where Darnell Boone stretched out Andre Ward. Basically, he caught him with a uppercut at an angle as Andre Ward was pulling out. He dipped under and he was coming back out, and he didn't really shield himself perfectly, and Darnell Boone fit that uppercut into the slot. Now, Darnell Boone was trying to hit Andre Ward with that uppercut for a while during the fight. Andre Ward was dominating. Then Andre Ward was dominating him, and he caught Andre Ward with a jab. Andre Ward instinctively went down. You know, when you try to swivel, you swivel down and you're coming back up. And Darnell Boone placed that uppercut just in between Andre Ward's guard, caught him, stiffened him out, and he hit the ground flat. But Andre Ward was able to recover. Very smart thing Andre Ward did was he clinched up, he locked up Darnell Boone so he couldn't really hit him. Made sure that he made it out the round, and then he started to regroup himself. By the end of the fifth round, he was back in control, and at the end of the sixth round, Andre Ward was beating Darnell Boone again. But the important part about this was, and he didn't get caught with that uppercut again for the fight, but the important part about the whole thing was it was a good learning experience professionally for Andre Ward. It was his sixth fight where he was facing Darnell Boone, and Darnell Boone was like two losses and one draw in. Now, Darnell Boone has a reputation for facing undefeated fighters. Even before he faced Andre Ward, he had been knocked out by a fighter, and he faced an undefeated fighter the very next fight, and he knocked out the undefeated fighter. Okay. After Andre Ward, he faced another undefeated fighter, and he got a win over him, Ronald Johnson. And if that's not enough, 2 fights later, he faced another undefeated fighter, James Countryman, and he beat him too. So Darnell Boone, because he didn't have a whole lot of pro fight experience, only 13 fights in, but Darnell Boone had something special about him, where if you're just not up to the task, where you slip up in any shape or form, he'll catch you, right? And that's the special thing about Darnell Boone. So Jean Pascal pretty much beat him on all scorecards. Darnell Boone seemed harmless against him. You know, names like Curtis Stevenson faced him and resoundingly beat him, right? Brian Vera resoundingly beat him. But then Erislandy Lara in the 6th fight resoundingly beat him, right? Edwin Rodriguez resoundingly beat him. Edwin Rodriguez who faced Andre Ward, and Andre Ward beat him resoundingly. However, Adonis Stevenson, in a super middleweight fight with Darnell Boone, he gets knocked out in the 2nd round when he was going in for the kill, and he got a little bit reckless. And Darnell Boone executes that shot. He's dangerous. Even though Darnell Boone is beatable, a lot of people will beat him quite easily. If you make a mistake, Darnell Boone will take note of that, and he'll exploit it later on in the fight. Sergey Kovalev had a very close decision fight to Darnell Boone. He just edged it out on Darnell Boone in his first match with Darnell Boone. He would rematch Darnell Boone and knock him out. But the point is, at light heavyweight, Darnell Boone gave Sergey Kovalev all he could handle, and Sergey Kovalev was a hard hitter. But let's talk about the string of undefeated fighters Darnell Boone met. From James Johnson, who he beat, Brian Vera, who beat him, Craig McEwen, who beat him by the slimmest of margins, Erislandy Lara, who beat him, Edwin Rodriguez, who beat him, Brandon Gonzalez, who beat him, Adonis Stevenson, who he beat and is now currently the WBC light heavyweight champion of the world. Lennox Allen, who he drew with, Sergey Kovalev, who beat him by the slimmest of margins, Marco Antonio Periban, who knocked him out, Willie Monroe, he beat Sergey Kovalev, who rematched him and this time knocked him out, Derek Webster, who beat him by the slimmest of margins, Morgan Finch, who he got a draw with, Arif Magomedov, who beat him by knockout in the first round. I'm just saying that this guy, he seems to feast on undefeated fighters. And the thing about him, he's like one of those gatekeepers. If you slip up on Darnell Boone, he's going to get you. And it's very interesting. You know, a lot of times people think of what is the perfect example of a gatekeeper. Darnell Boone is the perfect example of a gatekeeper. And remember, he wasn't yet a veteran. He wasn't yet a guy who had seen it all when he faced Andre Ward. But he had a collection of skill sets which made him dangerous. He wasn't offensively that dangerous, but yet he could roll punches. He wasn't hit clean all the time by Andre Ward. Andre Ward found it hard to put two punches together on him. The jab to the pit was working for Andre Ward, but he couldn't get the right cross on him. Sometimes he get the left jab in, sometimes he get the left hook in, but he couldn't get the right cross on Darnell Boone and just really crash him. Not only Andre Ward, but you can see Sergey Kovalev had a hard time with Darnell Boone, a harder time than Andre did. And a number of other notable fighters had a hard time with him. Other fighters, they just pretty much beat him up or outpointed him, and mainly because they didn't make as much errors, or they didn't, take Darnell Boone too lightly. So I just thought I would share this fight with you guys. You guys have a great one.